Hello again, students. Here we are, taking a look at if-else programming in Robot C. And in this video, we're going to show you a variation of the basic if-else control structure that only uses if statements. When we use if-else, many times we are comparing two situations, or having Robot C look at two specific situations and then make a choice based on sensor values of which section of the program or which branch that will be executed. In this case, we are having Robot C look at three circumstances and just look at them using if statements. We're able to do this as a variation because Robot C understands what if means, and if it doesn't lock into certain conditions that will cause the if statement to be executed, it'll pass on to the next part of the program. So if you take a look at this, this is actually an extension of the program that I used in the prior video. But we've got it set up. There's my pseudocode. Have the program come in here at first, the first if statement, and check the limit switch. And if that is pressed, giving it a value of 1, it's going to operate the claw motor for us. It'll open the claw and then close it. If that is not true, in other words, if the limit switch is not pressed, it will then pass down and check the next if statement, which has it look at the bump switch. If the bump switch is pressed, then it's actually going to operate the left motor, causing it to turn on in one direction for 2 seconds, and then stop that motion, and then reverse that, go in the opposite direction for 2 seconds. If that also is not true, it will then pass to the last if statement, which has it check the situation where neither one of those switches is pressed, which is kind of what we're describing there. And in that case, it will run the right motor for 4 seconds. So there's 3 different situations that can be executed by this program, and it's just using 3 if statements and doesn't require an else anywhere in the logic structure. So let's take a look and see what's going to happen with this one. I'm going to go ahead, and by the way, I have compiled it, and it compiles with no red or yellow X's. So I'm going to download this to my robot. And what I'm going to do is set this up so that in the first circumstance, I'm holding my limit switch in when the program starts. And you can see at that point that it's actually operating the claw motor for us, as we would expect. And it goes right on through and ignores the rest of the program because none of the other circumstances are true. So we'll release that. This time, let's go ahead and I'm going to hold the bump switch down. Let's start it again. And in this case, you can see it's operating left motor in one direction, then reversing that. We see both of those happen. And that's the only action the program takes. Now, the third time through, I'm not going to press either one. Let's start and see what happens. So in this case, just like we intended, the right motor operates if neither one of those switches is pressed. And you can see there that Robot C is doing a fine job of checking the circumstances of the limit switch and the bump switch to see what state they're in, to determine what's going to happen in those if statements coming down through there. This is a really handy way to go about having Robot C check several different circumstances based on your sensor values and then determine what you want the program to do. It works very well. At this point, you can certainly have more than 3 if statements if there are more situations that you'd like your program to check. You notice here that sensor value is very important in this one, to have it check the limit switches. And in this last case, notice how we have used the and sign right here to tell Robot C we want to check the state of the limit switch and also of the bump switch. Kind of a handy tool that you need to learn. Make it check more than one item in there, and. Hope this helps you out in your programming, and As always, let me know if you have questions or issues, and try out some if statements and see how that works in a program.